But we're live and we're good to go.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
So I feel like my body's out of sync though. Like I was saying.
Your body.
Um, yeah, because I kind of I think I hurt my shoulder sometime this week, and I'm still recovering from it. I don't know exactly what happened with that, but it's been a little weird.
I call it old age.
Really?
Well, when my
We're gonna
body hurts, that's what I say. I just say I'm old and I become really dramatic.
yeah. It's a little crazy, but outside of that, long day doesn't matter because the show must go on. This would be the second to last show for November, right?
Yep.
So next week, I guess I'll just talk about these things while it's fresh. Next week will be the last show for November. I'm kind of sad about that. I don't know if I told you that. Kind of
Guess
weird.
it is weird, but
I don't know. I feel okay. Okay, we just have to talk about it and see if there's any thing that we must talk about, then we have to figure out a way to do that. That's not going to inconvenience family time, especially for Thanksgiving and stuff. Um, but that's highly unlikely. But we have to see exactly how that plays out.
it's just one weekend.
Yeah. Where's my
One
audacity?
weekend.
Oh,
100 says,
my.
nice to see you finally join us, Andrew.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Really, we're gonna do that? Too early, man. It's definitely too early for that. Okay, so yeah, we can hang for a few. I guess for me to get in the zone. Um, but that should happen fairly quickly because hundreds already throwing shots. But it is what it is. But episode 378 of the show radio. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out. It's always appreciated. A video game idea. What's going on with the video game idea? What's happening there in chat? 378. Danielle, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I guess we'll wait a second or two, and then we can start. Anything that you want to share before we start?
No, I'm good.
Okay. No Christmas tree conversation.
Oh, I do have a Christmas tree. I do. I don't care what anybody says and how they're telling me it is too early for a Christmas tree. It's not too early. It's
It's
at
not too
least
early.
it's after Halloween. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to see
I'm
why I
good.
don't see you right now. Okay, there you go. All right, so I was gotta close some windows. Okay, I'm gonna close this window. I'll close this
But yeah,
window.
we put up our Christmas tree yesterday. We started off with our cleaning, but with like our schedule and everything that's going on and family and Thanksgiving, it's just like this seemed to be the most mellow weekend for us to possibly do it.
Right.
So we put up the tree, we listened to some Christmas music. It was nice. It was relaxing, and I'm just so happy to have it up. And I'm usually a Christmas Grinch. Like I like delay and put off putting up the tree and all of those lights for as long as I possibly could. But this year was just, I just wanted to get it started already. And it felt right to have a Christmas tree up during Thanksgiving because I don't think I've ever decorated for Thanksgiving in my entire life.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So definitely congratulations on that. I think our tree is up all year. I don't know if I ever told you that. Did I tell you that?
No.
Our tree is up all year. We don't take our tree down. Um, so yeah, so it's up. It's ready to go already, and that kind of a thing. I didn't play the Christmas music stuff yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that very very soon. So episode 378 of the show radio. Head over to theshowradio.info. Once again, that's theshowradio.info for our past shows. While you're there, subscribe and tell a friend about the show. Definitely check out our Patreon. We are going to record something in November before November is out for the individuals who are going to be linked to that patron page. So a couple of things I definitely want to share with you, Daniela and I definitely want to share with you the state of Marvel on Netflix. Definitely want to talk about that. Valerian, the movie. Did watch that. Daniela did see Thor Ragnarok, so we're gonna touch a little bit on that. November, Criminals did watch that, and as far as the allegations for all the sexual uh, assault, harassment, that still seems to be pouring in. So don't know what's going on. It seems like it's almost daily at this point. I don't even know what's going on with that. Xbox One X dropped this week, so we'll touch a little bit about that. And last but not least, EA and Respawn. We'll touch on that towards the end. Daniela, everything cool?
Yeah, very, very cool.
Everything very, very cool. All right, so a couple of things there. Gaming. So we'll talk about what we've been playing. We'll jump right into technology. We're gonna move pretty swiftly tonight. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, please feel free to ask those things. Definitely consider supporting the show. If you're listening to this for the first time, whatever you're doing at this time, theshowradio.info/listen is where you can actually subscribe to the show. If you hit the site, all the subscription stuff is on the site as well. And we're looking forward to you guys and gals listening to us. That's always a pleasure. So Daniela, catch us up on what you've been playing, and then we'll go from there.
See, that's the sad thing. I haven't really been able to play so much this past week. I've been in this really weird slump where I'm very overwhelmed. But with all the games that's on my backlog, and that's what I've been working on. So lately, it has been Danganronpa V3, which is a visual novel murder mystery who done it kind of game. So it's very, very text heavy, but it's so good. It's the third in its series, but it's the fourth game overall. The third game in the series, no, yeah, the third game didn't follow along the same lines. It was more of an action game that I haven't played yet. But overall, I've been enjoying it. It's just that it's a lot to read. It is. So you have to be like, you have to hunker down and be ready to read for 4 or 5 hours before something like super exciting happens. But it's actually really enjoyable and something that I love playing. So that's kind of what I've been working on. It's not so much like how I usually play 2, 3 games in a week. This one is just like I'm focusing on one because there's other games, newer games that's coming ahead that I want to work towards.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
I'm looking forward to probably jumping back into reading comic stuff. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Batman stuff, but I'm really looking for a lot of narrative in my reading. Um, more more text than actual pictures, but I definitely want to read Batman. I did see on a DC website they have this series that they just had like a special edition of a Batman Catwoman thing. I think it was like 49.99 or something like that. I don't know the name of that book, but it looked like something pretty interesting. I used to read a lot of that stuff back in the day, and I think that I'm considering jumping back into it. So if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them in regards to more text than pictures for Batman stuff.
Actually, that's like funny that you bring that up because I was just thinking about that myself. Like this past year, I haven't read as much comics. Certainly not the whole reboot on the DC stuff too, and I've been super behind. So if when I start that, because it's not if, it's when I do start back that up again, I will definitely let you know. I will.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Okay, so next thing is we didn't add this in the notes, but I think it was great conversation. I definitely want to bring to the table the that video that you sent me. Um,
Nothing
why?
good.
Huh?
Good.
All right. So yeah. We had some comments. We shared some comments about that, and I definitely want to bring that to the table because I think it makes for a great conversation. The guy, I don't know who he is, a streamer. It was a clip that was taken for. He was just going off about women streamers to some degree, to a
It
lot
was
of degree.
all. It was he generalized all female streamers.
Right, right, and so the thing that I was asking in relation to check the chat and delete from me real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I was trying to figure out and understand, and some of the things I was sharing with you behind the scenes, because I try to think about these things as logically as possible, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I'm always effective in that regard, but I try. I try. So now what I said could have been disconnected because one of the things I did say to you is Tiger Woods never really recovered, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. Um, and there's a lot of individuals who we feel may or may not recover when it comes to things like that. And then sooner or later, they'll apologize for their actions via, a note or a tweet longer or whatever they decide to use. Now, obviously, what he said was crazy, right? But I personally don't think I would recover from that
That was see
because,
when you asked me that question, that caught me off guard because
right.
I guess that
Why
wasn't
did it
the
catch me off guard?
because it wasn't exactly a response I was expecting from you, and yet
Right.
alone for you to have me think that you would ever say anything so vulgar, so
Right.
demeaning. It was just like that's not you. That's not part of your
Right. It was
personality. So for me to
right.
sit here and think that, I'm like, no, that doesn't go with my DNA. That
So
doesn't
so
go with
that
your
doesn't
DNA.
even vibe with you at all. That doesn't
No,
even
it
vibe with
doesn't.
you at all. Okay, but okay, so is there a way for us to isolate that? Whether I guess my personal, what the perception of me is on social media and the internet, and based on the conversations that we've had, is there a way to separate that based on what you've seen um, in the space of the internet? Do you think I would recover from that if I said something crazy like that?
No,
So I try to isolate it. I would not recover.
no, it wouldn't. And you know what is the bad part is I was thinking about this since I've been thinking about this video since it came out. I think it was on the 8th. It came out on the 8th. And then from when you asked me that question, if you would have recovered from it, I thought of two different things is that you wouldn't have. You wouldn't. And then I think of the person who said these things. And I don't even know if you want me to put the mention who the streamer is, but I can.
I
You know
mean,
who
you,
it
you can.
is.
I mean, the video's out. I mean,
Um,
it's not private information,
it
right?
isn't.
At
It,
this
it's
right,
it's basically Trainwreck's TV. That's what his streamer name is.
right,
Um, the thing is that he only got a 5-day ban, and there's people who are understanding what he was saying and why he said it and supportive in what he said. Not that they fully condone that what he did was right, but
right.
they understood his message. And then there are those who just like, no, you should have never said that. It doesn't matter. You don't have any say. It's not your right. It doesn't matter how these girl streams, etc., etc. But he'll be fine. And I don't like that double standard is that you'll have somebody like you that could say those things and you will not recover from that. And then somebody like
Okay, so
him who I think will.
okay, so why wouldn't I recover?
Because it's just I think it has to do with like a popularity contest kind of thing. It's not to say that you're not popular in your scene, but in his genre, in his circle, in his world, he is really popular and he has that I guess community to support whatever he is or he does. It's kind of like being that popular kid in high school that gets away with bullying kids and nobody says or does anything or thinks otherwise. But in that same high school, if you went ahead and did it, everybody wondering like, why'd you do that?
Hmm.
Because it's like it's almost kind of like he built his audience and his persona and who he is online around being this type of person that to everybody else is just kind of like they're numb to it. They're like, oh, that's just who he is. That's what he does. He's not going to change. So we just accept it. Whereas for you, it's just that's not part of who you are. That it comes off like as a bigger surprise, a bigger shock of like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
Got it. Got it. Okay. All
So
right.
so it's just that and I have so many mixed feelings about his message about what he had to say like certainly the way he said it, the words he used was
Okay. So do
incredibly
share.
vulgar.
Do
Okay.
share. All right. Go ahead. Feel
So
free to share.
um so basically, I'm not going to go word for word verbatim, but exactly what he said was basically he was stating that we do not put women's assets on a pedestal and praise them, that's not what they're there for. It is used for recreation. Of course, those were not the words he used.
Right.
But it was pretty much to me gave me that feeling that women are just material items. They're there to be used. They're not to be respected. They're not to be honored in any way. They're not his equal. And it gave a very rape culture vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And from the first two times I listened to the clip of his video, I believe there's two 30-second clips from that segment of his stream. I don't follow him. I don't ever watch him. But I did watch the clips that were going out and circling around the internet a couple times. And they're just absolutely disgusting to hear. And I was very offended when I heard it, because he was talking about female streamers. He was talking about all female streamers, which when you first listen to it, you assume it's just kind of like, so are you trying to say that I shouldn't game at all just because of my gender or because of what I'm doing? It was very, very wrong. And I also have to look at a situation objectively and leave my personal feelings out of it, because I also want to know why. Why did he say it? Why did he feel that way? What came about? And obviously I couldn't watch his full VOD because his channel was banned. He received a 5-day ban, which I believe tomorrow, Monday the 13th, the ban will be lifted and he can go back to streaming. I don't know if that particular VOD would be available, but going back to it, from what I gather from the people who did watch, who were there at that moment, and what he posted on his personal Twitter as well, was that it wasn't aimed towards all female streamers, that he understands that there's a lot in the community that provide good content and a very respectful content. It's just that he does not respect or recognize women who, I guess, they come across and they're all known as booby streamers, that they do show cleavage. They do wear very scantily clad outfits. And it's just, it's what they do. It's not necessarily what I do. It's not necessarily what a lot of females on Twitch do. But he was talking specifically about them. And that's where it kind of, for me personally, came to a very strange, I guess, feeling and an opinion towards it, where I do understand his sentiment and where he's coming from. I do not condone what he said, though. I do not stand how he said it. I believe the words he used, he could have said it in so many other different ways, pretty much. He could have said it and put out his thoughts and opinions on it in a million different ways. But at the same time, sometimes I don't really feel that way. I don't respect women who also just kind of show off their bodies. That is your body. You shouldn't have to show it off. I mean, you're losing respect for yourself when you have to stoop that low to get views, to get donations, to do all these things. It's really disgusting. I understand and I stand behind him not liking female streamers that are like that notions. I do not condone the message he said and the words that he used for it. And you know what's bad? This is absolutely disgusting. I do not know the name of the streamer who did this, but I believe it was either yesterday or the day before. But there was a female streamer that I don't even know, because this is a family show. What's the safer word for this? She was providing. No, she was providing self-care live on stream for donations. I think that's the best way I can possibly say that. She was providing herself self-care.
She was masturbating.
Yeah. On Twitch for donations. And she only received, I'm serious, and she only received a 24-hour ban. And it just kind of blows my mind, because it kind of further proves his point of what he was trying to say. It did come out as a hate speech. It did come out very, very in the rape culture there.
Right.
But it was those types of streamers that he was talking about. And he gets a 5-day ban for voicing his opinions. Again, his wording was terrible. But some other female streamer that his his speech was about does that and gets a 24-hour ban. How is that fair? How is that okay? It's disgusting. It is. So I have a very, very weird feeling towards him, towards the whole situation, that I don't even know where
Right.
to go forward with that and my full stance, because and here's the third side of it is that I don't necessarily condone booby streamers. I really, really don't. It's not something that I prefer. It's not something that I will respect somebody else with. But when it comes down to it, when you have your channel and you have a stream and you're very serious about it and how you want to grow your community, grow your audience, the content that you want to put on, it's if that is part of what you want, that is part of your hustle, I will respect your hustle, just not necessarily your reasoning or your desire for it. Like, I will not watch your content for it. But if that's what you're going to do, who am I to tell you what you can wear, how you can dress or act on your channel, on your stream? That's not up to me. But I can control what I watch, what I support. So that's my stance.
Okay. Fair
Kind of
enough.
everywhere.
Chat. What we got in chat?
100 says, it seems like he has the expectation of women streamers to always have skin exposed and have high pitched voice and attention seeking demeanor, which gives the stereotypes of all women that stream and what's expected of us. But if a man who's exposing himself in a stream and is doing private things doesn't get banned.
Hmm.
It's, you have to look at the whole story, and that's what I tried to do very objectively to better understand before I formulate a full opinion, because I don't like having a completely biased opinion. Like, I like to see both sides and the reasoning and then formulate my own personal opinion based off of that.
Very
It's
cool. So yeah. So I'm glad we didn't leave it out. I'm glad I didn't. I wanted to hear. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that situation, because I thought it was a very interesting situation throughout the week. But definitely have more to chat about. Okay, so we'll jump right into technology stuff because I know you want to talk about Thor in a little bit. So we'll do technology, jump into entertainment in a little bit. I do have a link in the show notes on how to add videos in Google Slides, if that's your thing. If you use Google Slides, you're not sure exactly how to add videos into that, I'll have a link in the show notes. There was a recent app that Google, it was originally leaked first, and then Google released it. It's called Google's Files Go. It's a files management application by Google. So that's out and about in the testing arena. So it's being tested out by us at this point. Also, how if you want to become an Instagram influencer, this link in the show notes will show you how much your post would be worth if you were to uh, put in your name in there, which was really interesting. So definitely check that out. I'll have that in the show notes. The show notes will be theshowradio.info/378 once the notes goes up. Any comments on those things, Daniela?
I went to go look how much the Instagram thing.
Word.
A whole $3.63 per
Uh,
post.
that's a mate. That's a lot. You
That
know,
is like a cup of Starbucks coffee, just the coffee, nothing else special.
it adds up over time. I don't know who I was listening to. They said that Kylie Jenner, every post that she puts up is 1 million.
Oh my god, I'd
One
I
one
I'd
point
believe it.
something. Yeah, it's pretty insane with her stuff. So that's what's going on there. November 17th happens this week. Definitely this week. A lot's happening on that day. You have Justice League, I think, is coming out on that day. The Punisher is releasing on that day. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is releasing on that day. That is going to be, wow. It's going to be insane. So I'm still working through Stranger Things now, Stranger Things 2, which is pretty exciting. And did also watch a couple of things this week. But if you want to hear your movie first, once we get to that particular section, November 17th, what will you be doing that day? Daniela?
Um, what day is November 17th?
Friday,
Oh, it's
probably.
a
I'm gonna say.
Friday. Okay, I'll
Yep.
probably, to be honest, I almost bought some early preview tickets to go watch Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided not to only because I really don't like dealing with crowded movie theaters. I don't. As much as I want to see it, I think I've reached this age or this yeah, pretty much this age in my life where I kind of just I can wait. I can be patient. And I will just
Right.
wait in a pretty empty theater, which is kind of what I did for Thor. But for November 17th, I probably will be either playing Danganronpa or LA Noir because LA Noir comes out on the 14th and I've never played it. So I think that's my goal. That's kind of it.
Very cool. All right. So a couple of things about Call of Duty. Still working through that. Not a lot of Call of Duty stuff in this episode of the show radio, episode 378. The reasoning behind that is because I'm still working through the campaign. I'm taking my time with it, and I did install Steam on Linux, so I have Steam running on Linux, and I was able to play uh, one of my favorite games of all time that you got for me, Daniela, River City Ransom Underground. So I've been playing that on Steam on Linux with a PlayStation controller, and having a blast doing that. So I'm back doing that again. Entertainment news, a couple of things musically that's going to be purchased by Tao Tiao. I think they're getting ready to do a purchase on that. Snapchat is going to redesign. They're not doing as well as they expected. They're doing a redesign on that. Also, Batman the animated series, the complete first volume, is available for streaming on Amazon Video. Any comments on that?
Batman.
Batman.
That's all I can say. It's just Batman.
I started watching it.
Yay!
It's really good. It's
I
still good.
It is still good and it holds up to it really, really, really well. So super excited. Yay.
Yeah, yeah. I started watching that yesterday while I was preparing the show notes for this episode. Also, I realized that it's it's like that was really the first time I started watching Amazon Video anything, and I like the way the app is set up. The it's pretty cool. So I was really having a lot of fun checking that out. Uh, yeah, I'm digging it. ESPN is going to do a a app that they didn't necessarily announce if it was going to be a standalone from the cable stuff. You know, like the 9.99, 12.99,
Mhm.
kind of like a Netflix thing. They didn't really go into details of if they're going to do it that way. But there's an upcoming service slash subscription model maybe called ESPN Plus, and that's going to be direct to consumer streaming service. So you have that. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how they work that out. Even though I'm able to use ESPN right now, thanks to some cool, family peeps. It's always watching ESPN stuff. I love that. Warner Brothers has announced that it will be publishing a range of mobile and console Harry Potter titles under a new label, Port Key Games. Any comments on those things?
I love that it's going to be called Port Key Games, or actually just Port Key, because I really love Harry Potter. Port keys are basically like transportation keys. Like it could be anything in the world. It could be a shoe, it could be a book, and it uses wizards and witches to teleport or transport to their other destination, wherever it may be. And so I think that's really cute and adorable. Granted, I've never actually played any Harry Potter games. Like I kind of avoid video game movies or movies to video games. I don't know. I don't know why. I always like I had a bad experience with so many of them that I just don't play them. And because I love Harry Potter so much, I'm kind of refusing to. I was like, please don't ruin my universe, please. But
Yeah.
some
So the Harry Potter thing, I've watched some of the movies. I don't know if how many movies came out. What's the number on that?
8.
8 movies. 8 movies. Okay, so I didn't watch all 8. I watched probably the first two or three, and It's interesting. It's interesting. Very entertaining. A lot going on there. But I didn't watch all eight, so we'll see. Maybe in due time. Too much to watch. Too much going on in this world today. There's
This
so
girl
much. There's so
today.
much. There's so much going on right now. It's ridiculous. So you have that. Disney's upcoming streaming service may be the end of Marvel shows on Netflix, according to a new report. Disney currently produces Marvel series like Daredevil, The Punisher, and others, but new Marvel shows are expected to be exclusive to the Disney streaming service. Any comments on that?
Okay, that's gonna actually break my heart because I'm not too sure if I actually want to go ahead and buy another streaming service through Disney.
Right.
Like, I already have enough streaming services.
Yeah.
I don't need another. It's kind of like it kind of breaks my heart actually, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot going on there because you have Hulu, Netflix, and you have an anime one, right?
Yeah, I have Crunchyroll and then also you have Amazon Prime, but
Right.
I'm not specifically paying for Amazon Prime for the streaming services. It's just that I already have it.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I don't. And I think that Netflix would be actually losing a good chunk of money when Disney takes that, to be honest. And just a quick
Yeah.
shout out to the chat. Hey there, Tiger, Rob, and Arcturus. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah. So you have that. So I don't know exactly how it's going to affect me, because I'm very, I'm very standard when it comes to the stuff like you were saying before, as far as the Netflix, the Hulu's, Amazon's, PlayStation, Xbox, and that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, those are the main subscription things that I use. Obviously, you need the phone, right? You need you need the phone so you can use it. So outside of that, internet, stuff like that. But I don't know how that's going to affect me yet, so we'll have to see exactly what happens with that. To be continued. Nintendo Switch just got its first video streaming app, which is Hulu. Okay, so that happened. So a lot of people are excited about that. And I don't know if they're planning to do Netflix in the near future and any other ones. But your thoughts on that?
I guess great if I had a Switch. Hey Santa, I would
Right.
like a Nintendo Switch for
Hey,
Christmas.
Santa.
Hey
Yeah.
Santa.
Right. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see, and we'll definitely talk about more Nintendo stuff in a little bit. There's some good positive vibes and happening with Nintendo right now, especially with all the things that they're planning to do in 2018 and beyond. But exciting stuff. But we'll talk about Nintendo a little bit later. November Criminals, did watch that. That was a pretty interesting movie. It was about teenagers in high school. One of their friends die, and they try to figure out exactly how the friend died. And the main guy was adamant on trying to put the pieces together. Him and his girlfriend, kind of girlfriend, not so much of a girlfriend. We're not sure in the movie, but they kind of get together a couple of times. That kind of a thing. But they go through the process of trying to figure out what happened to their friend and why their friend died. So that was an interesting film. Did watch that. I liked it for the most part. There were some dry areas in it, but aside from that, it was pretty cool. Did see that. It was cool. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Okay, so one of the things I definitely want to say about that, and these are obviously quick movie reviews. Not going to spend too much time with them or anything like that, but definitely want to say that when it comes to films or certain films, I'm not going to read a review about a film. Okay, I don't know what it is about films. Games are a little bit different. I'll probably read a few paragraphs of a review for a particular game, depending on whatever that said game is. But when it comes to certain films, if I need to know how the film is and I'm able to watch it, I think I'll do that first. So Valerian, for some individuals, didn't get a positive, I guess, response from the critics or the individuals that rate these things. But I liked it. I really enjoyed Valerian. Now, whether they do a second movie or third movie to follow this particular film, I don't know. I found out afterwards it was from the Fifth Element director, and that's actually my wife's favorite, one of her favorite movies. And I really enjoyed Fifth Element. That was a good movie too. So I tend to be like, okay, if it's really bad, like Batman Superman. That was questionable for a lot of individuals. I know Danielle, you love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was your
I
thing.
did.
You know, I watched it. There were some areas there that I wish that they can cut out to speed up to make the film shorter. You know, like truncating silence, that kind of a thing. If you want to do that, but I liked Valerian, and I think that if you have the opportunity to check it out, definitely check that out. November Criminals, definitely check that out too. And I know there's Birth of the Dragon. That's next on my list. I want to watch that, and then go from there. So that's all I have. Any thoughts on those?
I think I'm probably gonna go try November Criminals out. That sounds like it's right up my alley of things to want to watch.
Yeah, it was neat. It was neat. So I like that. Valerian, I really did like the colors, the aliens, the species, the languages, all that stuff of Valerian was cool. And then additional scandal allegations; those things are continuing, almost by the day, almost by the hour, depending what's exactly is happening with those things. DC Comics editor, something's going on with him. Flash showrunner, something's happening there. Rebel Wilson, she was harassed in some way, shape, or form. So those things are a little bit crazy, and I'm like, where did we all of a sudden get a moral compass for Hollywood or
I don't
anything?
know. Okay, that's an interesting question. I think we always had the moral compass, but I think a lot of people turned a blind eye, and I think it's more of not okay. This it's not me saying that it was okay. So I believe that long time ago, early golden years of movie making, like a lot of females wanting to get into the scene, and because it was always a very male dominating things and men making the decisions, that I think a lot of women felt like they had to provide special services to get ahead, to get a role, to get something. Or and directors and producers and other actors probably took advantage of that, and it almost became like that unwanted norm that it happened, but nobody really talked about, nobody said anything. And because nobody said anything, you have these women and these men who just feel like it's better for me to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to be blacklisted. Nobody wants to be blacklisted. That is their bread and butter. That is their money. So when you have somebody that finally does come out, and probably somebody that has if it starts off with somebody who has a lot of power, that no matter what, he or she will get, work, or they're well off into their career. We're like, you know what? If I get blacklisted, I don't care because I got the money for it. But you have that one person that finally comes out, that gives courage for everybody else too. And I don't think it's necessarily that, like suddenly they had a moral compass. It's just more of they finally have the courage and to say something. And I think
Okay,
I
that's fair.
think we're definitely, or at least I feel we're definitely in that, or back into that point in our history where we are empowered to take a stand against something. And I feel like there's a lot of protests that go along for a lot of things that I don't think I've seen. Like, I'm only 33 years old, but growing up, I don't feel like I've seen as much of that, or there wasn't as much of a need for so many people to protest. But definitely from, I want to say from 20, so maybe the last 13, 15 years or so, like that. Definitely seen a whole lot more of my generation standing up for, LGBTQ. There's so many letters. Um, they're taking their political stance a whole lot more seriously. Women equality, even though that has always been an issue for women equality, it's been definitely, I think, a stronger push for it more recently, because there are huge differences that are happening, and it's encouraging for people. And then you have, people coming across for sexual harassment. It's it's inspiring. It is. It's some of it is really sad thing that it's taken this much and or something really bad for it to finally happen, but it's happening finally. So again, going back to that, I don't think we lost our moral compass. I think we just found our courage.
Okay. What are your thoughts of the individuals actually coming out?
Um, Man, at this rate, I don't even know if we're gonna have a Hollywood anymore. That's what I feel like. I'm just like, all right, so we're gonna keep going with this. Pretty soon we're not gonna have these TV shows. Pretty soon we're not gonna have these actors, and hopefully maybe that means we start fresh. I'm not too sure. I, I really don't know. I'm just glad that it's finally coming out. It's better now than never. Doesn't matter. Like again, like with Kevin Spacey. I mean, that was like what 30 years ago. Um, I'm sure that person, if the allegations are true, um, that they feel better. They feel closure because that's something very heavy to weigh on you. Even if you feel like you've gotten past it, you know it's sitting there in your subconscious.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
Rob says the best thing was a transgender woman winning the election. She won against the person who authored the bathroom bill. Yes, that is a very good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
did see
is.
that.
That's
That was
huge.
crazy.
So,
Yeah. All right. So Thor, Thor Ragnarok. What did you think of that?
it was really, really, really good. I'm kind of glad that I waited till this weekend. Yeah, it was this weekend because it came out last weekend. So it was maybe the movie theater was like one third full, if that. So it wasn't crowded. Super enjoyed it. The music was really good. It was really funny. I watched it with my boyfriend and my son, and we were just cracking up laughing. It was such a feel good movie. There was a couple things I was kind of shocked about. Like I don't want to give away too much, but there's the name for this portal that's in this game, like one of the travel things that Thor uses. Um, that I was like, really? That's what you're gonna call it? Okay, that's fine. And I it's definitely gonna be one of the movies I'm gonna own on Blu-ray. I want to watch it again, and I'm trying really hard to be as vague as I possibly can because I don't want to spoil it. It's still a very fresh new movie, but I did not disappoint whatsoever. I wouldn't say it was one of the best Marvel movies of their entire series of all their universes. Guardian of the Galaxy, the very first one, that still is number one to me.
That's a
But
good
I
movie.
would, yeah, what it really is. I would definitely give Thor Ragnarok my second favorite out of the entire series, then followed by Iron Man 1.
Okay. So was it a comedy action adventure? What was it?
Yeah, it was a comedy action adventure, definitely. It's basically Thor um finding his way again and leading up to what I believe will be the Infinity War. Um and it was it it just made me feel so good because he of course he has this like love-hate relationship with Loki, and I feel in this movie it just their brotherly bonding was definitely like brought to a whole nother level, and I love Loki, so I'm not the type that oogles over Thor. Like all these women want Thor, and I'm like, I will take Loki.
Interesting. Because I was gonna ask you if they were okay. I was gonna ask you if they were brothers because I had forgot for a second if they were brothers or not.
Yeah,
But
Loki is an
you answered
adopted
that.
brother. He's an adopted brother. For anybody who is gonna see it, the music was good. It wasn't like Guardians of the Galaxy good, but it was definitely very enjoyable. The action was perfect. It wasn't overly over the top kind of action. It was really well timed fight scenes and things that are going on. Of course, after every movie that we watch as a family, we always talk over dinner about our favorite parts. And there was just so many elements of this movie that I couldn't just pick just one or two parts of the movie that I loved. Um, and I cannot recommend it anymore. So if you've been holding out on it, don't. Go and watch it. If you know you don't want to see it in the movie theater, you think it's too much. If your movie theater offers a matinee that's cheaper, definitely go for that. I just don't wait till it comes out on streaming services or Blu-ray. I say just go watch it in the movie theater. We did watch it in 3D. Um, I think that's the one part. I don't think it's necessary to watch it in 3D, to be honest. I really don't. I think it's a nice, if you got a really great theater that offers really nice 3D, I guess, sure. But watching in 2D will not ruin the experience for you. I can guarantee you that. And as usual with Marvel, there are two little secret Easter egg clips after at the end credits. One at the beginning of the credits, one at the end of credits. So make sure you sit if that's your thing. Sit there, watch them. Don't walk out on it yet. So, and that's it.
Yeah, the family conversations over what parts you like is pretty dope. I think hundreds is commenting on that in the chat. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, so here's the thing, right? When it comes to movies and things, I like to wait. It seems like I'm waiting now. I know we briefly talked about that at the top, but like if I could just watch the movie at home and not necessarily deal with the crowds at all, then I'd rather wait. I'm trying to find the right balance for that. There's no movie yet that has compelled me so much to be like, okay, you know what? It's been a while. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. It's been a while. I couldn't even tell you the last movie I saw in the theaters, which is pretty bad. But it takes a lot for me to say, you know what? I'm definitely going to check out this movie in the theaters.
See, when it comes to that, it has to be very specific movies. Thor was just going to be definitely. I didn't watch the two previous Thors in movie theaters. I didn't. I waited till it came out and I could rent it, or I had a friend who bought the Blu-rays and I borrowed it from them.
How'd you feel about those, the other ones?
They were good. They were really good. It just didn't compel me to want to go sit in a movie theater. Where when I saw the trailer for Ragnarok, I was like, I need to see this in a theater. And the same thing with Justice League. I will not be watching it this opening weekend because I really do not like standing in line. I really don't like crowds, so I'll probably watch it next weekend. Just because I'm going to be too impatient to wait to watch it. But it has to definitely be a film that I really can't wait for. Like I need to watch it. And it just kind of depends on how a trailer gets me feeling. Like Star Wars. Star Wars. I didn't watch Rogue One in the movie theaters, but I want to watch, The Last Jedi that comes out next month in the theater because it looks amazing. I just kind of have to watch it and I don't
Yes,
want to
I'm
be.
glad you said that because Rogue One, I think I did see in the theaters. That was a year ago or
Yeah,
two
I think
years.
so. I think that was a year ago.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's very. It has to be something pretty cool, and I think that was a family. Everyone agreed that they wanted to see that. So that was pretty neat. So overall, you what do you say? 8 out of 10 or must watch for Thor, the new one?
Definitely a must watch, and I would give it. I'll be very generous with this one because I really, really liked it, and I want to see it again. I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I
Okay.
wouldn't
Very
give it
very
a
cool.
9 yet.
Very very neat. All right. So next up, video game news. A couple of things. A lot of quick hits. We're gonna go through this fairly swiftly. Call of Duty World War II earned $500 million in sales. That happened. Fortnite Battle Royale 20 million plus downloads. PUBG now sold over 20 million copies. Any comments on those things?
Wow, that's kind of amazing because
Yeah.
as far as between Fortnite and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, to both be in the 20 million downloads and copies, that's pretty crazy considering that PUBG came out I think in March and has only hit that 20 million. Fortnite, I think
Right.
I think it's been out for 3 months. I don't have an exact
Yeah.
month on this one, but I want to say it was around 3 months. And to already have 20 million downloads, that's pretty competitive, and really really good on Epic side. Like I wonder how well they're doing for the actual real purpose of Fortnite, because Fortnite wasn't made to be a battle royale game. It's like a creative horde type building game with adventure in
Right.
it. It didn't have this element. So like I haven't seen any real numbers uh to show like how well they done with that. And Rob asks, isn't Fortnite PvP free to play? Yes, it is free to play. That's why it's at 20 million plus downloads. Um, but it doesn't mean that necessarily for me. It doesn't mean that everybody will like it. But to have people even consider or try it, that's pretty amazing to me.
That's a big
Especially if
raise.
they like the style, they like the art, they want to give more into it and try the other aspects of the game. That's still great on Epic. Because there's other free to play games that people like, it doesn't even reach those numbers and people aren't interested in. So
Yeah.
it's still
Okay.
impressive to me.
So, question for you:
What's up?
what brings you back to play PUBG? What is the thing that brings you back to play that game?
I find it more relaxing than Fortnite, and nobody understands that idea that I have about it.
Okay.
I like PUBG and I'm addicted to PUBG because I like how it can be pretty slow and it's at my pace and I like the way that it looks and I love how intense situations it really gets my heart pumping and I like that kind of sort of like excitement, win or lose. I love that kind of that mini adrenaline rush to it. It's kind of like a little bit addicting to me. So
Okay.
I
Okay,
think
that's
I think
fair.
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, because I see the popularity of those two games are obviously through the roof, and I realize that it's not necessarily my thing. I'd rather play River City Ransom or something really, really simple. But that's just me. That's just me. Resident Evil Biohazard, 4.1 million copies as of September 30th. Resident Evil 5 still leads with 7.2 million units sold. Any comments on that?
That's really good, especially since they have their DLC. I think that comes out next month. No Heroes. I think I can't remember the name of the DLC that comes out for Resident Evil 7. So I hope more
Was that
people
the
like
Chris
pick it up.
Redfield one?
Yeah.
Maybe okay.
So I think maybe some people, maybe the sales would go up a little bit more when that DLC drops.
Very cool, very cool. Hasbro Inc. reportedly wants to purchase rival toy maker Mattel. GameStop has announced a new unlimited used game rental service that's launching next week, which is very interesting. I think that's based on their used game catalog, if you want to call it that. So that should be interesting. Twitch announced it's releasing the nearly 30 million inactive usernames associated with the old Justin.tv brand. Any comments on those things?
Oh, comments on all of those things. So first of all, I cannot picture a world where Hasbro owns Mattel. Like, don't do this to my childhood because there's always been Hasbro and Mattel. They you can't have Habro. I don't know what the name would be, but
Mattel. Mattel. It's all good.
but it's you're messing with me here. Keep those two separate, please. Please don't sell Mattel because I like having a world where there's two different toy makers. Please don't give them monopoly on that. It's just weird. Let's see which one is less. GameStop.
GameStop.
I think actually that's actually a pretty good deal because with a used game rental, I believe it is $60 for 6 months, so $10 a month. You get to rent as many of their used games that they have in the store that you're going to. So, well, I only have one GameStop on this entire island, so it's not like I can go to any GameStop. So I don't know if it's like a Redbox or a Block. I don't even know why I say Blockbuster because those don't even exist in the world anymore. But I don't know if you can just return it to any store and just like take another one. But to my understanding, to the way I read it, it is that you can rent any used title within their stores. I guess stock inventory,
Right.
as many as you want every month. And then on your last month or your last rental before that 6 months expires, you get to keep that game.
Right.
So that right there, if you're smart, Your like last game will hopefully be some new title in like, so if it's starting in November, so in May, um that hopefully for whatever reason, because GameStop does this where it will be like 2 days after a new game releases and they have a used game on top of their shelves. You'll be smart and you'll pick that $60 brand new game that came out the week prior, and it's yours after being able to play all these other games and try them out. I think it's something that I'm definitely going to give a try, even though I have a huge backlog of games. I think this is actually kind of really cool. And the fact that you just get the last game to keep, that's actually a
Yeah.
really good deal. Really good.
Yeah, so it falls on the 19th, which is a Sunday, right? And that's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving falls the 23rd, right?
Yes.
That Thursday. All right, so enjoy half a year of unlimited gaming for the price of one new game. As you mentioned, yeah, 6 months, $60, uh, November 19th. That's pretty crazy.
I think I'm going to actually give it a try. But it doesn't say if you can renew that. So I don't know if this is just like a one time thing. So maybe they're trying out to see what it's like, what their sales looks like.
Hmm.
I can see some bad happening to it. Like I can see somebody who probably maybe they have a scratched up Assassin's Creed that doesn't play. So they go to their GameStop to rent out one from their inventory and do a disc swap. I can see that being a pretty bad thing.
Yes, a couple of things. This picture's a little faded out. A Power Pass valid for 6 months from activation date. Power Pass must be activated by January 31st, 2018. Must be a Power Up Rewards. I think that says member. Faded. Can't read that. Power Press Unlimited gaming coupon within 72 hours of purchase. Must present coupon each time a pre-owned is swapped, valid on pre-owned games only, and then blah blah blah. That's part of the fine print stuff. But yeah, that should be interesting. That should be an
It's worth a
interesting
try.
run. Yeah, definitely cool stuff there. Twitch, what's up? What's up with that?
Okay. That's a lot. Considering that Justin TV didn't was only on for I think 2 or 3 years before they created Twitch. 30 million is a lot. It kind of blows my mind only because back then, but 2008, 2009, there wasn't a like live streaming wasn't a huge thing. It was still a very weird gray area that not a lot of people knew. So for Justin TV to have 30 million usernames to unlock, that's crazy. I'm sure my original one was, is in there somewhere. Um but I've seen it's kind of interesting because my boyfriend is a partner streamer and he got that email and it's supposed to be all like down low key, and here comes TechCrunch like, hey, Twitch shared it with us, even though our partners aren't Twitch partners aren't allowed to mention it to anybody. But here's an email to TechCrunch and they can just spill all the
And they
beans.
shared it.
And
Yeah.
they did. They did. I mean, Twitch did send it to them, so they're allowed to share it, I guess. But I've seen a couple of people who actually took advantage of that. The thing is that for bigger partners, I think it's got to the point of like they've been, partners for so long that that name that they chose, that alternate name that they chose, um, like would you really want to change it? Because that's become your brand. That's become your name. This is how people find you. Even if they did release the name that you really, really, really wanted in your original one, I think changing your name. I mean, it's just a name change, but at the same time, it's kind of a brand change because you've been known at this certain username for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a big change. It'll definitely be a big change, especially yeah. It's hard for me to consider changing my name on stuff. I'm like, do I put my real name at this point with some of the social media platforms, or do I keep it the way it is? It's weird. It's weird. So I think that it's a big decision to make, especially if they decide to do that.
Let's see.
PlayStation app gets a new look. I don't know if you saw that. It's definitely pretty hot. GTA 5 is now the best-selling game of all time in the U.S. Any comments on that?
That app update was much, much needed.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. Wait. Chat saying Rob says that GameStop plan may backfire. Those used games depreciates very fast, so it isn't on shelf that they can't flip it for as big of a profit. See, I wouldn't consider it for flipping it. I just want to be able to get my money's worth. I wouldn't flip it. I
Yeah.
don't sell games anyways. And Tracy says, when I worked at GameStop, if your game looks scratched, we use store consoles to test it before taking it back. And she also
Yeah.
says that she knows partners who changed their names when they started letting you right away, and some really regret it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big name because it's like, to you, it's just your username, but to everybody else, this is what they came to know you as. This
Right.
is who you
Exactly.
are. This is your brand. Like, I will never ever change Miss DJM, and I'm so happy that I changed it from what it was previously.
No, no, don't change that. So here's the thing with the okay. So the username thing, that's very difficult. The use game thing, I guess I just want to touch on that for a quick second. Is if I have duplicate games, I usually just index them at the library. I think for me, I don't know, the fulfillment there for me is different than if I were to try to sell it and get like 5 cents for it.
Oh, he meant GameStop can't flip it.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, so no, yeah, I understand that aspect of it, but I don't even like walking into GameStop because of me bringing a game there and then they make $30, $40 upcharge on it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I
I
only
don't.
really go in there to just say hi to people. Because I know like almost all the people there, and I think I buy more merchandise. It sucks because ever since Amazon came out with their 20% off on new game titles within the first 2 weeks of the releasing, I almost had no reason to go to GameStop. And the guys that work there know that's what I've been doing, and it kind of bums them out because some of them get like little bonuses or whatever when they can get those pre-orders from customers. And anytime I went in there, they knew that most of the time I was almost like guaranteed until it stopped. And then like I didn't have to say anything. I think it was like the third or fourth time I went in there and I didn't pre-order a game. They looked at me and they're like, "You do the Amazon thing, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah. No, Amazon is great. Amazon is putting a lot of people on right now. So why wouldn't you? I think when a new game, if you pre-order it, it's like 47 or 48.99 or something like that with the Amazon Prime membership.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's a good deal.
And
So
plus,
that
Amazon doesn't charge me tax. They don't charge me shipping. So it's like a win-win
a good
there.
deal. It's definitely a good deal. So Nintendo is doing Nintendo awesome, right? Reportedly planning to make between 25 and 30 million Switch consoles in 2018. So I did see that. Also saw that failed Wii U is responsible for Switch success. Now, one of the things that I've always said in the past, clusters, different podcasts, different episodes, different conversations, that kind of thing, is if Nintendo were to make something that appeals to both international and domestic audiences, they would do pretty good, right?
Hmm.
And at first, it was almost a joke when the Switch was coming out. Who would be interested in that to dock a system and then take it with you? And now it's become something that everybody likes that Nintendo's doing right now. So much so that they're going to make even more to sell it. So that's where we are with Nintendo right now. There was an interview with Reggie Fils-Aime with CNN. I think it was CNN Money. I think that's what that was. Was that CNN Money? Yeah, it was CNN Money talking about the success of the Switch versus the Wii U and some of the questions. And I mean, I love the way Reggie does interviews. You know, in terms of the wording that he uses, marketing genius. I think based on the
You
way they
guys have had
market Nintendo
quite
and
a
how they
year
speak about
starting.
the platform and the brand and all that. So that was an interesting conversation. That link will be in the show notes as well. But would you consider the Wii U as a failure?
Yeah. I had
Okay,
people
because
that who bought the Wii U because I bought the Wii, and then they were super excited about the Wii U, which I didn't jump on, because it looked cheesy. It looked really gimmicky to me, and Sure enough, I had friends who were early adopters to the Wii U and they regretted it. They were just like, this is like probably what the Wii should have been. And it wasn't, it was just like a really expensive upgrade for them that they probably didn't need. And I didn't see people nearly as hyped up about the Wii U as I did for the Wii
Yeah.
or the Switch ever. Like I see people
Right.
like, yeah, I have it. I think they only played really Mario Kart 8 on it maybe every once in a while, but it wasn't something that they constantly went back to. It was kind of like a disappointment that they got rid of their Wii to get this, and it's like they felt it was like almost kind of the same thing to them. Um, but I those same people bought the Switch, early adopters of that, and they love it and they rave about it, and they just it's like their favorite thing. It's one of their favorite platforms, even over the Sony, the PlayStation, and over the Xbox. So yeah, I would consider the Wii U failed. Like even when I tried the Wii U, I didn't really care for it. I didn't like it. It was just like, oh, that's cool. I don't, eh, I don't regret not owning it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I may have played an audio just now that came through the thing. It may have. It may not. But basically, some of the things. Let me just close this window right here. One of the things I wanted to check out and read on this particular post, CNN Money for this particular Nintendo article. It says we work hard for the Nintendo Switch to make it crystal clear what the proposition is. This is Phil Ames talking. It's a home system that you can take on the go, and that's genius right there. That's pure genius right there. Now, how that fits into um, the 3DS world is interesting too, because I don't hear a lot of complaints that they're coexisting in the same space or anything like that, even though they're both portable devices to some degree. I know they recently put the Doom on there. A lot of people are kind of raving about that. It's almost a near perfect port, if you want to say that, to the game. But outside of that, they're they're doing really well. This is I'd say this. I've always loved Nintendo stuff. Nintendo really is what got me started on the gaming stuff back in 1987, somewhere around there. This is probably the first console that's really has me in a spot where it's either going to be that, the Nintendo Switch, or a PS Vita. So sooner or later, there's going to be a portable device. It's not a 3DS for me. It's either going to be the PS Vita or Nintendo Switch. And in terms of and for me, that some individuals do not think that that's even a comparison. But because I enjoy both platforms and what they do, it's a tough choice for me at this point.
Get them all. Okay.
Get them.
I know eventually I will own a Switch. Like and I've been saying this for months. I'll just it's got to have the games that's gonna fully draw me to want to buy it. It has to have at least five titles that I really want to play. Um, I don't want to buy it, and I only have one or two games that I'll touch and play it. Five is a good starting for me. Five is a good starting library for any platform that's coming out. Hunter says the Switch doesn't interest me to be honest, and Rob says, yeah, what I wanted out of the Wii U was what I am getting out of the Switch, and I think that like to further for what I believe to further go along with the statement of the failure of the Wii U is what provided the success for the Switch is that you need kind of those failures, you need those bumps in the road to be like, oh, I thought this was going to be great. What didn't they like? And then you take what people didn't like or what people were expecting and then create the product, like enhance it, improve upon it. And there you go. You get your success. So Nintendo's good at learning from their mistakes, or at least like, we didn't make a mistake. This was just, field testing.
Yeah, field testing. No, they're doing really, really good stuff. Take Two has revealed that the LA Noir VR case files have been delayed for about a month. Uplay members can get Ubisoft 2014 open world hacker thriller Watch Dogs for free on PC. That ends on November 13th. So if you're watching that live, you still have time to do that. If you listen on the 13th, I think by 4 p.m., I think it is, you may not have that opportunity anymore. Assassin's Creed Origins has confirmed once and for all it takes place in the same shared universe as fellow Ubisoft series Watch Dogs. Any comments on those things?
That kind of actually blew my mind. Like that's
Because
really, really, really cool to have like that Assassin's Creed and Watchdog is in the same universe, the same, timeline. That is really, really cool because I like Watch Dogs. I know it's not as well received as Assassin's Creed is, obviously. But that also leads to the possibility of maybe a little crossover. And I would be
maybe,
so hyped for that if that happens. That would be really
maybe,
cool. I don't know how that would work, but it would still be really
right?
cool.
Okay, why did you like Watch Dogs?
I don't know. I like the tech side of it.
Okay,
Two was definitely better than one. The music in two was really, really great, and it had a lot of improvements on two. But yeah, the idea of being able to, hack things and take down this like Big Brother establishment and I don't know, it was just really, really cool. It seemed really
okay,
fun and it kind of spoke to me a little bit more. Unlike Assassin's Creed, where it's kind of, I didn't really care for a lot of the series, definitely for Black Flag. I want to definitely play Origins. Oh, that looks so good. I just can't justify a purchase of it right now. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like a hit and miss.
mm, interesting. So next thing, I really got excited about this thing, but we'll talk about a couple of things and then we'll kind of go back to it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are coming to Injustice 2. Sony in the US is adding an incentive for trophy hunters. You can now trade in your exploits for PSN credit. PlayStation VR Skyrim VR bundle, that's a thing, or it's soon to be a thing. PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X owners will soon be able to play Destiny 2 and 4K with HDR. Any comments on those things?
Before I get to those comments, Hunter says, question is Watch Dogs a game that you can play by yourself and still have fun versus you having to play with people? Yes, it is for me. It is. I can play Watch Dogs and enjoy it by myself fully. Thank you for that question. And for anybody that's listening, if you guys ever have any questions, even though you can't tune in live, you can definitely
Yes,
email us at community@theshowradio.info. And come our next show, we will definitely, if you have any questions, read through them and answer them.
absolutely.
Okay, so it's funny. I saw this video clip. This is even before I knew about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hype.
I got so hyped.
There's
I got
there
so
was there
hyped.
there's on my timeline I saw from E-League TV. There was a retweet, and it was about these two commentators, Sejam and Tasty Steve. And it's just a camera looking into the audience, and this is for Injustice 2. And I don't remember exactly what the tweet said, but is you don't know hype until you're this, and it just shows them for like 30 seconds jumping up and down, holding on to each other, what possibly could be them screaming in excitement. And I'm like, what could ever possibly get anybody that excited that they literally jumped out of their chair, jumped up and down, and held each other? Like,
The
I want that
turtles, that's
feeling.
why.
I want that
The
feeling.
turtles.
Exactly. And that's how when I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, I'm like, okay, I get it. My goodness.
That's all I want. That's now I want the game now. I mean, I was like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they got some cool characters there. And then Raphael came down and he threw the sight. I was like, no. Now I gotta get it now. I got
And
so hyped.
the thing is that you don't just get one or two of the turtles. Four.
You get
All
four
of
of them.
them.
You get everybody. So I was so hyped. Okay, so the Super Nintendo game for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, I believe it was called. That
Mm.
was a good game. That was a really good game. It was tough, but it was really good. So to see the Turtles back again in a fighting game is really really exciting for me. So I'm hype about it.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good intro trailer. But you know what? As much as I love the Ninja Turtles, I'm not that big of a fan of Injustice 2. However, there was something that I added to our notes. I don't know if you showed it, and we'll bring it up later. That was literally announced when we started this show that I felt that
What?
excitement internally
What?
for me. And
What?
I try to contain it. So that has to do with Tekken 7. We'll get to that later. But as
Okay,
much as I
gotcha.
love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Injustice 2, it's I don't know. It's a good game, but it's not like I'm not very good at games that have a lot of zoning in it. I don't have that sort of patience, or I guess you could say that kind of tech or knowledge to be able to deal with games that is very heavy in zoning, and
It's a movie.
maybe well, I'm talking about Injustice 2.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's just a movie.
It's almost 2.5 hours of cutscenes.
Okay. Well, when you put it that way, okay, fine. But I'm hoping that when you had introduced the Ninja Turtles like that, they're very close quarters and they counter that. Hopefully, it'll be good. We'll see. I want to see some gameplay mechanics and really dive into that. I think that comes out what spring 2018. They say, I
Yeah, I
think,
think
or
it's called Fight.
somewhere there. Somewhere. I don't remember what the
It's
exact date
dope.
was.
I'm just hyped. It's pretty hot.
Well, did you even mention the topics after? All I heard was Ninja Turtles, and I think I zoned out after
I
everything you
did.
said
I
after
did.
that.
I talked about the Sony and the Trophy Hunters with the PSN credit. Talked about PlayStation VR, Skyrim VR bundle. Also mentioned the PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X owners getting the 4K stuff for Destiny 2 and HDR.
Eh, I'm kind of about the news. I mean, I went ahead and I tied in for the Sony rewards things and the trophies.
Right?
I don't know if they actually like retroactively give you rewards for your current trophies or if it's looking for new ones. Because when I linked it all up, I mean, I have trophies, I have stuff, but it didn't recognize like, hey, you have like 10 silver trophies or something like that, or it didn't give me anything. So maybe it's just like from that moment on, it starts counting the trophies and achievements you get. We'll see. I'll test it out. I had it linked. Figured
Word.
why not.
Fair enough. So you have okay. So you have those things. Also, Destiny players are once again grinding loot cave.
Are
That's been fun.
you doing that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely doing that. So there's this cave in Winding Cove. I think that's south for EDZ. The lost sector is called the Weep, WEEP. You go in there. Once you go in there, you clear out everything and you open up the chest. You head towards the back door, but you don't exit the door. Once the name changes on the bottom of the screen, you turn around and you go back to the chest, and then you're able to open it again, rinse and repeat. And yeah, I did that for a while. I think I did it one time over 100 and something coins, and um, they'll probably patch that by Tuesday. They'll probably send a hot fix just to patch that. So I think the way that they may patch it is once you clear the ads and you clear you kill the boss, open up the chest. Once you exit the door, they may close that first set of double doors so you're not able to go back in, even though you clear the screen to try to go back. I think they may just close the first set of doors that you walk out of. So to make you go all the way back into the beginning of the lost sector to clear it again, which is way longer than the 15 seconds of just rinsing and repeating and a loot cave um, grinding. So yeah, that's been cool.
I'm surprised I didn't even think about that when they were designing that level. Like,
Right.
you didn't learn from your first cave?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think that that's probably the quickest way that I see them closing it to make sure that you stay out. But we'll see. We'll see how they work it out. So there's that. So next generation of PlayStation, Xbox hardware is at least a couple of years away. That's perception, obviously. This is coming from Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. So that's perception from him. Microsoft Studios Publishing General Manager Shannon Loftis has defended the Xbox One's lineup or lack of. That's not in there, but I just want to throw that in there. Of exclusive games and indicated that unannounced exclusive are in the works. Any comments on those things?
Did you throw in the lack of on purpose?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
Because I mean, what are we seeing though? What are we seeing really? Like, there's only two things that's somewhat exclusive, if you want to say that, right?
Right.
Maybe one or two, three. What? PUBG, Cuphead, Forza. I don't know. That's it, right? What else?
Yeah, I mean, and they're not even super exclusive too because they're still on
Right.
PC. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, you're right. Just that shade that
What
you're
is
throwing over
there?
there. Nothing. I'm not defending it. I just thought it was
That's what I'm
funny.
saying. This okay. So here's the thing with, for the individuals who are getting new tech, anything that's new, okay, and we've been very fortunate, right, Danielle, to get a lot of new tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I want to make sure that I do not do, and I just want to throw this conversation out there for those listening, and this is for you. If you're listening to this piece, this particular part right here, this little soapbox at a time, this is for you. If you get new tech and you're really excited about the new tech, do not troll anybody because you got the new tech.
Okay.
Okay, because what's okay. So here's why, right? Because I need to explain. Because as much as we're excited for the new tech that we get, I don't ever want to troll anybody on social media because those things can be saved even though you delete them, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is why a lot of things that I think about, I'd rather have the conversation here because you have the full context of what I'm trying to say. So if you're trying to work with a company later on that's associated with the company that you've been trolling, how does that look for you? That's a no opportunity automatically. I've had more individuals tell me, "Hey, it's cool the vibe that you have with Daniela that I've never really met or talked to, but once I started speaking to them, that involved a business transaction, they tell me how much they like the show. So I don't even know that they're paying attention. So when you put yourself in a position where you're saying a lot of stuff on social media, whatever social media platform that you choose, because you think it's funny and exciting because you got new tech, right? But at the same time, if somebody decides to snapshot those things, they'll live on forever because you just thought you wanted to have a funny moment, right? So that's why you'll seldom see me at this stage in the game, whatever this stage is, joking around on social media about other companies' products, jazzing a friend in the same thread. That's cool. Subtweeting about it, it's not cool because there's no context when you're subtweeting,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that if you're doing that on social media and you just happen to listen to the show and you like me or you don't like me after this particular part, then that's on you. But I'm just saying that it's not safe. That's it.
That's it. I co-sign
That
with that.
that is all with that. Xbox One X, I want to talk about that a little bit because that's exciting stuff. New tech, love it. Don't have it, looks amazing, sounds amazing, looks very powerful, all that good stuff. Let me see. Did I leave anything out? I didn't leave anything there. EA purchased Titanfall developer Respawn. Okay, I wanna spend some time there. Xbox One X, Daniela, what's up?
So I spent some time watching the compared video and man, okay, yes, I can tell the graphics updates and
You can.
upgrades and those differences. When you really, that's the thing too. It's like when you really super focus on it.
Yes.
And I don't
It's
know if it's worth
great.
it. It is great. It is great. But sometimes, when I'm playing, I don't stop to really look at textures all that much.
Okay, so you want to
I
go back and play Doom 2?
No, I don't want to go back on Zoom 2. But this is more of like comparing of like, am I going to upgrade my Xbox One to
Right,
an Xbox One X?
right.
Is that what I'm going to do? Is being able to see better, more refined textures? Uh,
More
that
hard drive space.
Yeah, I guess more hard drive space. Um, is it worth it
Is
for
this
me to do
something
that
you
right
want to
now?
do?
Because I think for me to take, I still believe for me to take full advantage of this console, I still need a 4K TV. I'm not gonna go buy a 4K TV.
But it does some good stuff with 1080p stuff. I think it makes it look a little bit nicer.
Yeah, it does. But then again, you're still not getting the full use out of it. I guess for me, when it comes to tech, is I want to make sure that I'm using every bit that I possibly can, and I'm not, you know, neglecting or ignoring its full capabilities.
Right.
And that's what I still would feel like I'd be doing with if I got the Xbox One X. Because I don't have the 4K TV. I don't have that full nice dream setup there. But for just those enhanced graphics, I'm not. I see it. I do. I'm not sure if it's worth or compelling me to go and upgrade quite yet. Because when I'm playing, I was like, yeah, a game still looks beautiful. There are still games that look really, really nice. Is it? But again, I asked myself, is it worth me going to spend a little bit extra more money to have just that much more finer detail on a game that I'm still enjoying and I still find beautiful on the first gen? I'm not sure.
Okay.
And
So gear stuff, not really didn't
no,
get you.
no, not really.
Okay.
Considering that I can play Gears on my PC.
Right.
So
There's that.
I can still do that. I'll always have that that I guess that is the other thing too, is that a lot of the games are not exclusive to specifically to just the console. So for me, um I have a PC that can and outdoes my consoles, and I can just play it on there and enjoy it and love it and play it on ultra and go through all those things. I don't need that. For those that are console players and they don't play PC, and maybe it is worth it to them, maybe. But for me, I can still hold off, especially since I don't have a nice TV set. I mean, I have a nice TV set. It's just not 4K, and I don't see myself buying another TV considering I just bought that one like last year.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so two more things, and then we're gonna get out of here. Um, EA purchased Titanfall developer Respawn. I think that's really exciting stuff because um, when Titanfall 2 released, it released at such a bad time, and it affected the sales of the game because it was among some giants. I think Battlefield, the old school Battlefield came out, right? One during the time that the Titanfall 2 released, and I think that was really, really bad. And of course, we know that the Titanfall 2 guys, Vince Zampella, and that team was the team that really was behind Modern Warfare 2. And because of the lawsuits and all the stuff that happened with Activision, they kind of split. They created their own studio, Respawn. Respawn put out Titanfall 1, which was exclusive to Xbox, from what I recall. And then when Titanfall 2 released, it opened up to the PlayStation platform. And because it released when it did, it was really, really bad. So in terms of having that in their catalog now, EA having that in their catalog now, I think is really exciting stuff because if you look at the Activision stuff right now, they have a 3-year cycle for three developers for Call of Duty. Sledgehammer just did theirs. Whoever's next on the thing, I don't know, but there's going to be two other developers, right? And they're going to cycle, rinse, and repeat that. So now EA will have Star Wars, uh, Battlefield, and Titanfall, and whatever other cool things that they're going to have. So that could be a 3-year cycle to be in direct competition with the Activisions. Those are some initial thoughts that I had there. I think that's going to be really interesting to see and watch how that plays out, and to see exactly what Respawn is going to do. And EA is going to have a great say on when games actually gets published to some degree, because the Respawn people are no longer independent in regards to just releasing the game whenever they want. So that's going to be a better decision made there when that comes out. So I'm excited about that whole thing. I still didn't play Titanfall 2. I played the beta when they had that little beta demo testing out. But outside of that, I think it's a great game. Didn't play the campaign. From what I hear, the campaign for Titanfall 2 was amazing, but most people didn't play it. So I don't know how amazing it really is because I still have yet to play it. Those are initial thoughts there. Daniela, what's up?
I think it's a really, really great for Respawn. Because Titanfall, I think it's a very good game that was, you know, ignored because of like you said, there's a lot of other bigger games that came out, and I think it was just a missed opportunity for them that they could have done great things if they just released at a different time. I think they should have just released at the beginning of the year because it seems like at the end of the year, it is like the genre for those big title shooters, COD, Battlefield. Whereas, like, if you just went out the season before, you'd have a head start. And maybe they would have done better. And I hope EA, even though I have like a love hate with EA, um, does really good things with them. Gives like shines a light on Titanfall that I think it actually deserves because it is a pretty good game, and I think it caters to a very good audience, and people really enjoyed it. Just needs to not fight amongst the COD and the battlefields, and now Star Wars.
Now Star Wars, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of all my thoughts.
Yay. Fair enough, fair enough. Tekken 7, Danielle, this is all you.
Noctis. That's it. That's all I'm feeling. Literally just as before we started this recording the show at 5:48 p.m. my time, my local time. So that was like roughly maybe 20 minutes after we started. Yeah, Tekken tweeted out Noctis will be from Final Fantasy 15 will be entering the Tekken 7 ring, and he will definitely be coming spring of 2018. The
Cool.
trailer and the his announcement of his release, it looks so good. Oh my goodness. He looks like he's so much fun to play, and I am super hyped, super excited. He looks so good.
Okay.
That is it. That's all.
Very, very cool. And that's all we have for you guys today, episode 370 of the show radio. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. Definitely consider our Patreon. We are going to push out a bit of content for that before November ends. Definitely. I definitely want to um, do that episode that I have in mind. It's not going to be a long episode, but it's definitely going to be impactful for productivity purposes. I'll say that. Definitely looking forward to doing that and dropping that for the individuals who become patrons. So that's what's going on with that. So thanks for tuning in. Please support the Patreon, patreon.com/show radio. Daniela, what's up?
Thank you guys for tuning in live, everybody that was in chat. Appreciate your conversations and your questions as well. And again, if you can't be here, it's totally understandable. I appreciate you guys downloading and listening to our podcast. But if you ever have questions, email us. We want to know about them. Community@theshowradio.info, and hopefully, when we hear from you, we will read it on our next show. That's kind of it.
Word. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Peace.